Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart here on the right of Dolly Parton. She's a Virgo rising, Sun in Capricorn with Venus, and a Moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. And first thing I want to look at is her birthday here, January 19th. I've mentioned this before that when you see that number 19, often the Sun correlating with the Tarot Major Arcana Sun card is prominent in the chart, and that's no different here with Dolly Parton, her being a Sun, very much a Sun person, and you wouldn't know that by just looking at the fact that she's a Sun in Capricorn. And you can see here her Sun is in the 5th house, associated with all things Sun and Leo, and she has Venus conjunct the Sun as well, giving more of a pleasing personality, someone to be seen here, someone to be on stage. And we can also see that her Sun is at 29 degrees, that critical degree, which is also going to make that Sun prominent as well. And there's more to that. We can see as well as making a exact aspect to the moon's nodes and more. So we'll come back to that. And her husband just passed away, so I want to look at that first. We can see she has a couple major transits, life-changing transits going on. She has Uranus here at 24 degrees. And it's been close to 20 this 26 degree mark. You can see, so Uranus brings changes, and it's making a trine aspect to her Venus. And you think the trine is a good aspect. It doesn't really work like that. It's more or less the angles of the degrees, the 30 degrees, the 60 degrees, particularly the 60, the 90, the 120, the 150, the 180. I mean, really at 30 degree marks, you'll see things. You can see things occur. And you can also see she has Pluto recently transited her Sun. It's still right around 2 degrees, so we're looking at, somewhere definitely within a 3 degree orb, but it could go up to 5 degrees when Pluto transits planets and angles, specifically planets like the Sun. There can be, this may be something that she's been preparing for, that occurred back when Pluto made a direct transit to the Sun, and even Venus here as well. Let's see where, and then she has Saturn, of course. Saturn recently transited her 7th house cusp. It's currently in the 7th house, right around 20 degrees. And then we can see that's making an exact trine to Saturn, or recently made an exact trine to Saturn and Mars there in the 11th house in the sign of family, home and family. She also has Jupiter currently at the MC, and I don't know the details, but we could surmise that it's possible that this Jupiter transiting Uranus and MC there in the 10th could be some money or fortune coming her way, but it's not exactly. I don't necessarily look at astrology like that. If you don't want to go too deep, you can just see all of the transits piling up, and certainly something's going to happen when that occurs. And then looking at her life, we can make a estimation that is going to be something to do with her husband. So without going more into that, let's look at her, look more into her chart. As I mentioned, this idea of having the Sun being prominent, it's in Capricorn. She definitely is in a Capricorn like industry, or not so much the music, but the country. I would associate with more so with Capricorn, the consensus, and she is definitely at the top of that industry. Capricorn being a sign that climbs the top of a industry or has the ability to do that, or we often see that. She has 3 planets in Capricorn, including that Mercury. And the sun is also making a square to Jupiter. We see the Jupiter there in Libra. She's very well liked. Jupiter in Libra. And also being ruled by Venus. That Jupiter being ruled by Venus in the sign Libra. And it's making an exact square to Venus in Capricorn. And then we can also look at that Venus sun being ruled by Saturn, conjunct Mars, making almost an exact opposition to that sun, Venus, and almost an exact square to the Jupiter. And this Saturn Mars, again, being a very famous person in the 11th, in an industry that would be more associated with Mars and Saturn as opposed to Neptune, which we can look at Neptune because a lot of the charts that I do, Neptune is prominent, which is prominent here. It's in the first, but you don't see the Mars, Saturn, and the Capricorn stuff as much. So we can look at her Neptune and see it is making a trine to her MC. It's making a loose square to Mercury. But not much else other than we can say the moon is in the 12th, but not as much Neptune influence as you would see with a performer of someone of this status. Not to take away from the creativity, because there is a lot of Leo, so I have mentioned that. But it's a different type of, it's a different type of music. This is what I kind of look at with like country. It's not the same as acting. It's not the same. I'd say Neptune is more acting. It's more the music, we think of other types of music that would be more associated with Neptune than something like country. And we see here that she's the 4th of 12 children. See more of this idea of the way things used to be, more traditional. 12 children. Her father worked in the mountains of East Tennessee as a sharecropper and later tended his own small tobacco farm. We see here Jupiter in the 2nd. Very good fortune when it comes to land and real estate. Described her family as being dirt poor. That's something we could see here when you look at the 2nd house. Is often you might associate with money, and of course that goes along with land, but more so with the land and real estate. It's not so much that she was rich, but you can see later in life she obviously she's worth a lot of money. So it does correlate, but even the Mars Saturn with the early life, for sure, or at least that perspective that she was poor, or that it was that kind of perspective that from her perspective that she would have been poor. Not going to get into any of that. Public image, turned down several offers to pose nude for Playboy magazine, but did appear on the cover of the October issue wearing a Playboy bunny outfit. So more of that traditional stuff, turned down an offer to be in Playboy magazine. That's that Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn. Let's look at the Pluto. Pluto's in the 11th. That's where she's coming from. South node in the 4th. And we see where she's headed, the North Node in the 10th. Very much a life path of someone who is headed towards status and success. We see the North Node there at 29 degrees in the 10th house, the polarity point of Pluto in the 5th, and also with that Sun at 29 degrees. So more of a story of this person coming from nothing, so to speak, with Pluto in the 11th. The 11th being the Aquarius house, so somebody that's kind of out there in the country, in the rural area, something more detached. And also the 4th house coming from a place of home and family, being more valued. But then moving towards the public with the 10th house, and then the 5th house with the performing and the creativity. So very much correlates to that smooth transition that's described here in her life path. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and thanks for watching, and have a great day.